Welcome to the False Prophet. On this channel, we expose Islam for the lie that it is. And currently we are doing a expose series exposing Islam and uprooting this lie that has led billions and billions of people to hell with Muhammad, who is currently burning in hell as I make this video. He is in hell burning for sending billions and billions of Muslims to hell. But that's okay. That's why this channel is here. We are going to continue to expose the lies of this false prophet of Islam. And in today's episode, we will continue to unpack the lies in Islam. And today, we will be exposing Islam for something that they like to claim other religions do, which is practicing paganism. For the longest, I have heard Muslims say that Christians practice polytheism and that they worship three gods, which is totally false, but we will tackle that in another episode. But today, we are going to show Muslims and show the viewers that Islam practices paganism and they draft paganistic ideas from other religions. Islam is not this monotheistic, pure religion that they try to say it is. Islam is flooded with pagan ideologies and practices. But today we will tackle one of those pagan practices that's within Islam. And that practice is the practice of reincarnation, which comes directly from Hinduism and other religions such as Buddhism, other religions that around the world have believed in reincarnation. And if you don't know, reincarnation means, another word for it is transmigration. It means that a person's soul can be reborn into another body in another stage of existence, whether hell, on the earth, or actually in heaven. That's what reincarnation is. And let's actually prove what we are saying. Because one thing when you're dealing with Muslims, I'm the type of person, I don't like to be like the Muslim. You see, the Muslim is a liar because his Quran gives him the license to lie, and his hadith of Muhammad gives him the license to tell lies. So we don't want to be like the hypocrite Muslims. We want to show and prove everything that we say, so we don't give the hypocrite and the lying Muslims any room to doubt anything that we are saying. We like to cover all areas and leave nothing where they can hide. We don't want to leave any area where they can hide, because we are very thorough on this channel. So first and foremost, let's dig into the concept of reincarnation. And so let's read. Reincarnation is the philosophical or religious concept that the non-physical essence of a living being starts a new life in a different physical form or body after biological death. Remember what I'm saying. Remember what I'm saying right now, because all of this is going to tie in later. It is also called rebirth or transmigration and is a part of the samsara doctrine of cyclic existence. In short, Samsara is the cycle of death and rebirth. Reincarnation is a central tenet of Indian religions, namely Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, and Hinduism. Although there are Hindu groups that do not believe in reincarnation, but believe in an afterlife. Now I want to get to the good part that I was reading earlier. Reincarnation refers to the belief that an aspect of every human being or all living beings in some cultures continue to exist after death. This aspect may be the soul or mind or consciousness or something transcendent which is reborn in an interconnected cycle of existence. That's not the part I really wanted, but we'll get to it. Okay, this is the part that I was looking for. It was in that same article, but it was hard for me to find at the moment. Okay, there is no permanent heaven or hell in most Hinduism sects. In the afterlife, based on one's karma, the soul is reborn as another being in heaven or hell or a living being on earth in the form of a human or an animal, as you see. Now let's go back. We're going to go back to the so what have we unpacked thus far? We have proven that reincarnation is a belief in that a person's soul can be reborn as a human or an animal on several different planes of existence, whether on hell, earth, or they can be reincarnated in a different body form in heaven. So now let's get back to this hadith. We about to get this Islam busted. Now, when dealing with the Muslim, one second, let's get back to it. When dealing with the Muslim, you have to be exact with them because they like to use a lot of tagline excuses. Their number one thing to say is Islamophobe. You will hear anybody from the Muslim community use the term Islamophobe. That's just a little hashtag thing they say to try and condemn anybody who exposes Islam. Most Muslims will say the same exact things. They use the same arguments. If they are talking to a Christian, the first thing they will say, they will bring up the Trinity. They'll say something about the Trinity. Like if you get them cornered and they run out of things to say, they'll say, oh, you worship three gods. But we're going to expose all of that. But we're going to handle each topic one at a time. So let's get back to... Okay, the hadith that we are going to be reading from, exposing Islam for its belief in reincarnation, this is from ummah.com. This is a Muslim site, so they can't say this is from some anti-Islamic site because they love to use that excuse. Trust me, I've debated with enough Muslims to know all of their tactics. So I know everything they're going to say because they all say the same thing. The devil, he doesn't have new tricks. He used the same old tired tricks. So this is coming from ummah.com. Now, What we about to read is going to expose the Islamic belief of reincarnation. And these are Sahih. Everything I'm reading to you is Sahih, which means authentic. Because another thing you got to learn about the Muslims, they have a way of playing with the hadiths. So I make sure to let you know that it's Sahih, even though if a hadith is da'if, which means weak, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's rejected. It's not rejected. It's still passed the grade. It's still passed the grade. It's just not as strong as a Sahih, which is the highest grade. So let's get into it. This is coming from the book on government. The book on government, Kitab al-Imara, Muslim book 20, Hadith 4651. It has been narrated on the authority of Masruq, who said, "We asked Abdullah about the Quranic verse, 'Think not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, finding their sustenance in the presence of their Lord.'" Now, we're going to kill two birds with one stone. What I just read to you was a contradiction, but we're going to get to that later. We're going to get to that later. All of this is going to tie in together. Just bear with the lesson. Let's start again. It has been narrated on the authority of Masruq, who said, "We asked Abdullah about the Quranic verse, 'Think not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, finding their sustenance in the presence of their Lord.'" He said, "We asked the meaning of the verse from the Holy Prophet, who said, 'The souls of the martyrs live in the bodies of green birds who have their nest in chandeliers hung from the throne of the Almighty.'" Did you hear that, Muslims? This is not a metaphor. You see, the Muslim likes to play a lot of games. This is not a metaphor. This is literal. This is not an Islamic hate site. This is not an Islamophobe fabrication. This is real. Everybody sees it. So, what I'm reading now is their prophet, the false prophet of Islam. He is explaining the verse that I read. "Think not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, finding their sustenance in the presence of their Lord." And this is Muhammad's explanation of the verse, what I'm about to read to you. We asked the meaning of the verse from the Holy Prophet, who said, "The souls of the martyrs," this is the explanation of the verse. This is Muhammad speaking. "The souls of the martyrs live in the bodies of green birds who have their nest in chandeliers hung from the throne of the Almighty." So, wow, this is devastating. "They eat the fruits of paradise from wherever they like and then nestle in these chandeliers. Once their Lord cast a glance at them and said, 'Do ye want anything?' They said, 'What more shall we desire? We eat the fruit of paradise from wherever we like.' Their Lord asked them the same question thrice." And it's funny that the Muslims talk about the Trinity, but you'll see them copying the Trinity because they do everything in threes. They do everything concerning ablution in threes. They wash behind their ear 3 times. They'll say something 3 times. And even right here, they're saying it thrice. But if you ask them, what's the meaning of a Muslim doing something 3 times if they don't believe in the Trinity? In the Bible, the number 3 is symbolic to the Trinity: God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. So as you see, Muhammad was copying what he learned from the Christians about the Trinity. That's why he did everything in 3s. And we'll continue. Once their Lord cast a glance at them and said, "Do ye want anything?" They said, "What more shall we desire? We eat the fruit of paradise from wherever we like." Their Lord asked them the same question thrice. Why 3 times? Why 3 times? Because they're copying after the Trinity in the Bible. But let's continue. When they saw that they will continue to be asked and not left without answering the question, they said, "O Lord, we wish that thou mayest return our souls to our bodies so that we may be slain in thy way once again." When Allah, saw that they had no need, they were left to their joy in heaven. Do you see that? Do you see that? Excuse me for the pause. I was reading the below paragraph. But did you see what we just read? We just read reincarnation within Islam. And this hadith has just gotten their prophet busted. And we're going to show you why. Now like I said, we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now I'm going to show you why this exact hadith gets their prophet busted. We already got them busted because they are taking a pagan idea and infusing it in Islam. They're taking a pagan idea and infusing it in Islam. The concept of reincarnation. So we already got them busted on that. Now we about to get their prophet busted even more. Let's show you. See, I keep everything bookmarked, so it's easy for me to just bring the evidence out. Let's show you. Again, this is coming from a Muslim site, so they can't say this is an Islamophobe. This is an attack. This is a attack against Muslims because you hate Muslims. They can't say all of that. Let's show you. Their prophet said in the hadith. I want to go to the actual let's go to the actual hadith. Let's go there. And this is Sunnah.com we about to go to. Sunnah.com, another very popular Islamic website. Let's blow up this hadith. Let's blow it up. Let's blow it up. This is narrated Abu Huraira. Don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it matters not. And this is a Sahih. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. So this is Sahih. This is an authentic hadith that we are about to read. The Prophet said, Allah said, "I have prepared for my righteous slaves such excellent things as no eye has ever seen, nor an ear has ever heard, nor a human heart can ever think of." Did you catch it? Right here, he is saying Allah has prepared a place that no eye has ever seen, nor an ear has ever heard, nor a human heart can ever think of. But in the other hadith, it's saying that that's not true, because an eye has seen that place. An eye has seen that paradise. We just read it to you. Because the martyrs whose souls reincarnated into green birds. Let's go back to it. So we about to get that prophet busted. This is a contradiction. He said, we asked the meaning of the verse from the holy prophet who said, the souls of the martyrs live in the bodies of green birds who have their nests in chandeliers hung from the throne of the Almighty. They eat the fruits of paradise from wherever they like and then nestle in these chandeliers. But what did it say in the other hadith? It said that Allah has prepared a place that no eye has seen. But that can't be true, because right here is telling you that the souls of the martyrs, they live inside of green birds in paradise. And not only that, here's something else that's damaging. Not only that, but this is where it gets worse. They have their nest. The bodies of these green birds, they have their nest in chandeliers hung from the throne of Allah, hung from the throne of the Almighty. So these martyrs, they actually sit right next to Allah. That's shirk. That is shirk. In Islam, nothing's supposed to be compared to Allah. Nothing's supposed to be sitting right next to Allah on his throne. But right here it's telling you the souls of the martyrs live in the bodies of green birds. Let me blow it up. Look, Muslims, look. The souls of the martyrs live in the bodies of green birds. Because you know green, that's like a color, a sacred color in Islam. The souls of the martyrs live in the bodies of green birds who have their nest in chandeliers hung from the throne of the Almighty. Boom. That's devastating to their religion. You can throw the Quran away now after hearing that. I could actually end this video right now, and that's enough. That's enough. But we're going to keep going. You know why? Because we got more busting to do. Now, in Islam, even animals are Muslim. Okay? Even birds are considered to be Muslim. Now we're going to go into why this heaven of, or this paradise of Allah is not really a heaven. And we're going to tell you why. Because in this heaven of Allah, Muslims will be eating other Muslims. I'm going to give you a few seconds to let that sink in. You're probably saying, what do you mean Muslims will be eating other Muslims? Hey, you know me, and I'm gonna back it up. Let's go to the Quran. I'm going to show you. Now remember, all this is going to tie in together. The souls of martyrs, they live in what? Green birds. A bird is what? A bird is what? A fowl of the air. What did I just say? Muslims will be eating other Muslims in paradise. Remember, the martyrs. First, let me tell you what a martyr is. A martyr in Islam is anyone who dies for the sake of Islam. So if, you know, like these terrorists who do jihad, they know that jihad is the one sure ticket, according to Islam, to enter paradise. Because in Islam, and I don't want to get too off subject, but Muslims, they don't know what is waiting for them in the afterlife. But we'll talk about that on another topic. Like Muslims don't even know, but one sure way to paradise, according to Islam, is being a jihadi terrorist, someone who like dies in battle or jihad. They will become a martyr. You see, that's what a martyr is. So these martyrs, they reincarnated into green birds. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how Muslims will be eating other Muslims in paradise. And I'm going to show you why the Muslim version of paradise is not really heaven. And I'm going to explain all of this perfectly. Now, you might say, explain to us why will Muslims be eating other Muslims? Okay, let's do that. So remember everything, the green birds, and bird, another name for bird is fowl. So let's go to Surah. Let's go to Surah 56. Go to Surah 56, 20 and 21. This is Sahih International. This is Quran.com. So they can't say, we coming from an Islamophobe, anti-Muslim site. You hater. You hater. They can't say that. This is you. See, you got to get Muslims at their own, with their own sources. That's what I like to do. Let's go to Islamophobe. Islamophobe. Boom. So Surah 56 is basically explaining to you about paradise. The passages we will be reading from right now is explaining to you about life in Jannah. That's the Muslim word for paradise. So if you go to 5620 and fruit of what they select, basically Muslims will be able to eat any fruit that they select and fruit of what they select. And verse 21, read it. Let's read. Let's blow it up. See if we can blow it up. It won't let me blow it up. Surah 56:21. Let me play. Okay, let me just read it. Surah 56:21. And the meat of fowl from whatever they desire. They will be able to eat, and the meat of fowl from whatever they desire. Okay, that's why I kept repeating to you that another name for bird is fowl. And what does 56:21 say? And the meat of fowl from whatever they desire. So that means when if a Muslim happens to go into paradise, he can eat other Muslims. He will be able to eat one of those green birds who has the soul of those martyrs inside of them. Those martyrs who reincarnated as green birds, a Muslim will be able to eat one of them. He will be able to eat his fellow Muslim. Read what it says. Surah 56:21. And the meat of fowl is a bird, a creature that flies in the air, a fowl, a bird. And the meat of fowl from whatever they desire. So that means the word whatever means whatever they desire. Whatever they desire. So if they look up at the throne of Allah where those green birds are hanging from the throne of Allah like we read in their nest, and if they say, I want to eat one of those green birds, they can eat them. It says whatever they desire. Boom. Busted. Now, they might say, they saying, well, animals are not Muslims. We about to bust them again. Because I know what they saying. I know how Muslims think. I know how they think. They don't really think much. They just recite and repeat the same old silly arguments they learned from Muhammad Hijab, or, the same old silly debate. You know, they don't really have much to offer, man. They don't have much to offer in Islam. Now let's show you. Now let's show you. According to Islam, animals are conscious of God. According to the Quran, they praise him, even if this praise is not expressed in human language. You see? And then something else. The Quran teaches that God created animals from water. And that's another thing. That's another contradiction too, because it's a verse in the Quran that says, but that'll be for another video. I'll just touch on it briefly. It says that I think it's Surah 21:30, where he says that basically Muhammad said, because none of the Quran is God speaking. Let's just get that straight. So Surah 21:30, you have Muhammad pretending to be Allah. He said that Allah, supposedly, who God named supposed to be, supposedly created every living thing from water, but they'll turn right around and tell you that jinn are made out of fire. And so that's another big contradiction. Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Okay. The Quran teaches that God created animals from water. God cares for all of his creatures and provides for them. All creation praises God, even if this praise is not expressed in human language. God has prescribed laws for each species, laws of nature. Since animals follow the laws of God, follows the laws God has ordained for them, they are to be regarded as Muslim. Just as a human who obeys the laws prescribed for human Islamic law is a Muslim. Just like humans, animals form communities in verse 638. The Quran applies the term ummah, generally used to mean a human religious community. There is not an animal, and this is from the Quran, there is not an animal that lives on the earth, nor a being that flies on its wings, but form part of communities. In Arabic, it would say ummah, like you. So ummah means like religious communities. Nothing have we omitted from the book, and they all shall be gathered to their Lord in the end. So these animals are Muslims because they will even be judged on Judgment Day. So flies will be judged. Cows, dogs will be judged on Judgment Day. And it's so funny because, I'm kind of getting off subject, but I'm having to say all of this, so I don't want to hear no excuses, because I said that Muslims will be eating other Muslims in paradise because they will be able to eat the fowl of the air, whichever they desire. It said whatever they desire. So if they desire to eat one of those martyrs who reincarnated as green birds, then they will be able to eat one of their fellow jihadi martyrs. And it's funny that they believe that all animals are Muslims and they will be judged on Judgment Day. It's funny that Muhammad, he said that all dogs should be killed. Then he changed it to just black dogs. You'll also notice that in Islam, it's a negative connotation around black. It's so many hadiths that he's always using examples of black people as the negative example. And we'll do another video on that, and I'll unpack every hadith and just show you all of the racism and all of the racist quotes from Muslim historians and Muslim scholars, respected Muslim historians and scholars. But we will do that in another video. But let's get back to the topic. Well, we still on topic, but I had to kind of go down that road because I know what the Muslim says. I know what he thinks. I know how the Muslim thinks. Let's get back to it. The green birds of paradise, okay? Now, when I said they will be eating other Muslims, I just proved to you by the Quran that animals are Muslims. They will be judged on Judgment Day. I read the verse telling you how they will eat the fowl of the air, whatever fowl of the air they desire. I proved to you that they took the concept of reincarnation. They stole it from Hinduism. I showed you the 3 stages or levels where a life can reincarnate. They can reincarnate in heaven, hell, or back on earth. So in this instance, the martyr reincarnated in another body as a green bird in paradise. Now, and I told you about the cannibalism. You'll have Muslims eating other Muslims in paradise. We read Surah 56:21, which says they will be able to eat whatever fowl they desire. So we explained that. Now I'm about to explain to you, with all of this unpacking that we have did thus far, now I will show you why the Islamic version of heaven, i.e. paradise, is not a perfect place. And I'll tell you why. Because unlike the heaven of Yahweh in the Bible, any position that you are in is a good position. But in the heaven of the Muslim, you still have classism within their paradise. Let's unpack it. Because every Muslim who goes to paradise, they will get a minimum of 80,000 boy servants. The Quran says they'll have these young boys who haven't reached maturity. They around age 12. And these little young boy servants, and it goes into explaining how they so handsome and they don't bleed. Like when it said they don't bleed, like that's something like, hold up, that's some homosexuality, because they also say that in the Islamic paradise, your body won't have any mucus. So them saying these boys won't bleed, that's insinuating homosexuality, meaning that these Muslim men will be having sex with these little boy servants and they won't bleed. Why else would it say that? And why else would it say that these boys are handsome? Like, if you a man, a real man, why would you care about how your male servant look? That's some faggot homosexual stings going on right there. I wanted to say something else, but I'm going to keep this video clean. That's some homosexuality taking place. Okay? Now, the reason why this paradise is not a perfect place, because unlike the heaven described in the Bible, in the Muslim version of heaven, there are different categories, and some of those categories you wouldn't want to be in. No Muslim would want to die and be a servant to another person for the rest of their life. You see the classism that I'm speaking about? So in the Muslim paradise, a man who has servants, he wouldn't want to be a servant. So what does that do? That's creating a rich class and a poor class. Not saying that these boy servants are poor, but they not at the highest position. They not the one who have servants. So right off the bat, you see some inequality going on. Why don't the 80,000 boy servants have 80,000 boy servants? You see what I'm saying? So right there, you already have inequality taking place. Now, the green birds of paradise, the martyrs, who will be eaten by other Muslims. Because who's to say, we read 56:21, Surah 56:21, it says that the Muslims will be able to eat any fowl of the air they desire. So who's to say and it says that when a Muslim in paradise, it says in the Quran or in one of the hadiths that anything, I believe it's in the Quran, anything that your heart desire, you will be able to do. There is no such thing as sin in the paradise of the Muslims. It's no such thing as sin. It says whatever your heart desire, you will be able to do. So if a Muslim desires to engage in homosexual sex, guess what? He can engage in homosexual sex. If he desires to sleep with his mother, guess what? He can sleep with his mother. It's a free for all, do anything you want to do party that's taking place. It's a sexual orgy in the clouds. But let's finish breaking down why this heaven is not a perfect place. Because in this heaven, the people that will be in this make-believe paradise, because I know it's not real, but I'm just speaking about it just to show the inconsistencies in it. The people who will be in this make-believe paradise, they will see other people in positions that they would never wish to be in. For instance, the men in paradise at a minimum will get 72 houris. That's where we get the word whore from. 72 houris from the women of hell. So Allah actually He recruited women from hell. He basically said, you women in hell, you come here. You 72 women in hell. He took 72 women from hell. That's what it says in the hadith. 72 houris from hell, and they will have houris, women from hell, from the peoples of hell, who will be sex slaves. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you Muslims, would you want to be one of the 72 sex slaves, or would you want to be one of the men enjoying the 72 sex slaves? Would you want to be one of the 80,000 boy servants, or would you want to be the one getting served? You see? Would you want to be the fowl of the air? And it says that they can have any meat they desire. That's also in the Quran. I just read you 56:21 that said they will be able to eat any fowl that they desire. Now, Muslim, would you want to be the fowl that you desire to eat in paradise? Would you want to be that bird that you're eating? No, you wouldn't. So what does this mean? That means that in the paradise of the Muslims, you still see things that you don't want to be. You still see positions of life that you don't want to be in. So therefore, it is not a perfect place. Because in a true heaven, everything that you look at would be perfection. You see what I'm saying? But in the Muslims' paradise, certain life forms are not in a state of perfection, because you wouldn't want to be the bird that's being eaten, and the bird that's being eaten would rather be you, the one that's eating him. So in the paradise of the Muslims, it doesn't do away with classism within life forms. It's not a pure example of eternal life. because life will still be taken. So in the Muslim paradise, the Muslim will not escape seeing death. He will still see death on a daily basis. But in the heaven of God, of Yahweh, there will be no more dying. But in a Muslim paradise, he will still be a slave to his carnal needs. But they say they are slaves to Allah. They're not just slaves to Allah, they are also slaves to their carnal flesh. Because they still will be desiring fleshly things like eating food. Desire. They will still have desire. But in the heaven of Yahweh, there will be no more desire because you will be in the presence of God Almighty. But in a Muslim paradise, what did 56:21 say? They will have whatever they desire, any fowl of the air they desire. They still have wants and urges and sexual needs and all of these different desires of the flesh. And when you use the word desire, that's like a drug. Presently, right now in these earthly bodies, we are addicted to food. We need food to eat. We have hunger pains. So when we get hungry, we have a desire. And once you eat, a few hours later, you're going to have a desire to eat again. So food is like a drug. So when these Muslims go into this paradise, they still going to be, basically, they're going to be living the same way they were on earth, except they just be in paradise. It's basically like it's the same ordeal here on earth, except it's in paradise. They still have desires. They still have sexual desires, except it's not in a brothel in Las Vegas. They just doing the same thing in paradise. No difference. And they still see death. It's still classism because some Muslims will have more servants than other Muslims. So if you're a Muslim and you see another Muslim with more servants, you're going to be like, if I could have it my way, I would be this Muslim who has more women than I do. Because 72 is the minimum amount of virgins that they'll have. 80,000 is the minimum amount of boy servants they will have. But there will be some Muslims who will have more than others. You see what I'm saying? So you still have that classism. You still have earthly, fleshly desires going on. You have cannibalism going on. You have other Muslims eating other Muslims, the birds. You see? And it says that in the Quran that he's going to judge all of the animals, right? He's going to judge all the animals. He's going to gather them up on Judgment Day. So if these animals are gathered up on Judgment Day and some of them make it into paradise, in the Quran it says they can eat any meat they desire and any fowl of the air they desire. So that means they will not only be eating fowl of the air and other types of meat, but these animals they will be eating will be Muslims who let's just say an animal made it through judgment and he passed and he had a perfect score and he ended up in paradise. He's not safe because it says that any meat they desire. So a Muslim can see, let's just say, a crocodile who makes it into paradise. A Muslim can look at that crocodile and say, I desire that meat. He gets to eat the crocodile who made it into paradise because it said any meat they desire. You see? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So how can this place be a perfect example of a paradise when you still have death taking place? When you still have options of greater and lesser? Muslim, I'm speaking to you right now. If you could snap your fingers right now and be right up in paradise with Allah, would you want to be one of the fowl of the air, or would you want to be a person, a human being? You would say, I want to be a human being. Why? Because it's better to be a human than a bird that's going to be eaten. So now that brings up another point. Pain and suffering will still exist in paradise. The pain and suffering that will take place when these Muslims are eating their fellow bird Muslims. They'll be eating the martyrs. They'll be eating these birds and chewing them up. And since there is no digestion of the food, guess what? These Muslim birds in paradise who have souls, guess where they end up? They end up in the bellies of other Muslims for all eternity. So that means these Muslim animals who made it to paradise, who made it through the judgment, and who were deemed as worthy, is really a cruel joke being played on them. Because they will still end up in hell in the belly of one of these Muslims who eat them. So it's like they were punished even when they made it into paradise. Because if somebody say, I want to eat you, they chew the bird up, and the bird, he goes into the belly of the Muslim who ate him. And he's sitting in the belly of a Muslim who ate him for all eternity. So what did he do to deserve to be eaten when he made it into paradise? What does that make Allah? That makes Allah a liar and a deceiver. That means Allah damned these birds that get eaten or get eaten in paradise. He punished them even though he allowed them to come into paradise. Now he is punishing them for nothing. He allowed them to enter paradise. Then he allowed them to be eaten. Why? But why? If somebody in paradise say, I want to eat that green martyr, that green bird over there. They were a martyr, but yet they still can be eaten and go into the stomach of another Muslim. This is totally devastating. And what we have shown is that this is not a perfect place, because there are situations you wouldn't want to be in within this paradise. But you couldn't say that for the heaven of Yahweh, because there will be no more dying. So it don't matter if you're a bird or an animal, you will still be good, because you will be in the presence of the Almighty with no desires whatsoever. Unlike this hellish paradise of Allah, where you can still get punished and be eaten even after you made it into paradise. Devastating. This is what we call a KO. They are finished. No way out of this. And I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Hope you got some out of the lesson. Leave your comments below the video. And until we do this again, this is the false prophet in honor. My channel is named in honor of the false prophet of Islam. The false prophet, where we expose the lies of Islam. And we just exposed the lie of Islam. So a Muslim can never tell a Christian that you practice polytheism. That's paganism. When within their own religion, they have reincarnation. The concept of reincarnation that existed before Islam. Let's make that clear. It existed before Islam. And I'll leave y'all with that. This is the last prophet. Subscribe to the channel. hit the likes button, and share these videos. Share them on your Facebook. Let's make this channel popular. And this is the last prophet, the false prophet, signing out.